Sori.
That's Booby.
Julpy and Ghosty.
Soundgarden Outshined from the Sin and Glory Alliance. Mm-hmm. If you, dear listener, want to be part of an alliance, all you have to do, it's $1 at the gate at Patreon, and then you get in, and you get in all these cool little subcultures, and they're basically based around not the exact same genre, but in the same stratosphere.
Yeah,
and they all get together, discuss, and talk about it. Chris Culp, who I'm pretty sure is a leader of this group, does like a wheel thing. Like, he does a lot of cool stuff to make it fun. Mix it up and make it fun, stuff like that. So that's how you get in. There's also another option where if you want to jump straight to the head of the line, you just put your $75 in there, and that gets you a golden ticket, like at Disneyland, where you get to cut in front of everybody because we're in a capitalist wasteland. and then just the regular send us an email and all that jazz. Okay. Right now, though, I gotta tell you, we're doing a recording blitz to make sure that our Alliance folks have their songs listened to, because they've been taking a backseat for quite some time. So we're giving them some love. Also on Patreon, it's really cool. We've got some behind-the-scenes stuff. Stuff gets really, really personal. I'm still trying to figure out. It's about to get really, really personal. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that. I don't know. But anyway, so that's coming on Patreon. Like right now there's the, what do you call it? The, I forgot.
We'll talk about it.
The X-Formation thing.
Oh, yeah.
We're tracking the keto thing, and then there's the Super Saiyan Sori stuff, which is really interesting. Okay, so this is Outshined by Soundgarden, 1991. So this is Chris Cornell. So let's do it.
Okay, ready? Go.
They asked the live version.
Feels good. Like
Well, he's not. I always Halford. He's not. He doesn't. No. He's not Halford, but he's got a strong. You know, my top. It was Halford, and then it was the dude that took over for Ozzy for Black Sabbath. I think that guy was my number one guy. I forgot his name. But I think I'm gonna have to. I think I'm gonna have to add the Big Homie here. This is like one of the few songs I've heard him live, like in his heyday.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
But good lord, the man could sing.
Yeah, he really can. Good for him.
yeah. Like this is like this is the epitome of that grunge sound, man. Like.
And he threw himself out into the crowd.
Did he?
I think so. I think this is him floating around in the crowd right here.
Or is that the guitarist? No, that's him.
That's him. Yeah. And then he comes out of there and he's still singing like...
I know.
Like he wasn't being pushed all over the place.
Some people... And I bet you anything he didn't know like how crazy that was.
yeah.
Some people are just so good at stuff that it's like not even a thing.
Plus, I feel like it's youth. You know what I mean? Like you get away with a lot of stuff when you're younger.
Yeah.
That... You're like, oh man.
Yeah,
like sometimes the kids like they'll jump over the railing into the living room and I'm like,
I don't know how.
Don't do that for one, but for two, man, I mean.
I don't know how old Halford is, but I feel like he could still keep all of his notes and such.
And do some stuff.
In a crowd like at 60, which he probably has to be at this point. You know what I mean? Like some of these guys are just crazy. What do you think the song was about?
It to me just sounded like he's waking up in the morning and like everything wasn't. When he said, I'm looking California and I'm feeling Minnesota, I just thought that was like, I don't know, you made a big deal out of it. To me, it was just like California is obviously better than Minnesota. Minnesota's just Minnesota. And then he was saying like, he looks like California, but at the same time, he's feeling like Minnesota. Like people look at him and think a certain thing. You know, he's living the Rockstar lifestyle, but it's not all that. It's not what it looks like. It's not all it's cracked up to be.
Well, yeah, I think that's what he means. You know, looking California, glitzy, Hollywood, yada, yada, yada. And then Minnesota is just normal, you know, almost middle America, cold.
Yeah.
Everybody's in their house. Yeah. But I thought that was...
Nobody's like, we're going to Minnesota. Like you hear people say, we're going to Cali.
Right. I'm going back to Cali. Yeah. You know who gets mystified? I think this is him like struggling with maybe... on the one hand being like a rock star, which you're not just looking California, like you're an established rock star, you are California. But I wonder how much of this is like also just the grunge attitude, like, so I think all these bands came from Seattle, which Seattle isn't Minnesota either, but Seattle is not California.
Yeah.
So like, you had it with the flannel and just the look. You had Kurt Cobain, you had Eddie, you had all these guys that were just dressed like normal people, and they were coming out of the whole glam rock thing where dudes were wearing makeup and eyeshadow and their hair was all spiky and there's like 58 blonde girls in the videos and all the rest of it, to just grimy, grungy, I'm in my plaid shirt, I'm a normal guy wearing these jeans for 18 days in a row type of thing. And I obviously, Kurt genuinely struggled with that dichotomy, like being just a regular, normal person who was not a regular, normal person.
Right, yeah.
Like,
yeah, I'd agree with that.
You know, like, on the one hand, like, there's a human commonality in all of us, but then on the other hand, there are people who are not like us. And, you know, it's... everybody's special, yada yada yada. Like, I'm not that guy. Like, there's some people who are they're just not regular people, man.
Yeah.
So, like, here he is, like, you know, we were watching that documentary where he had his big mansion in Seattle, then he'd go sleep in his closet.
Sleep in the walk-in closet.
Or he'd go to some seedy hotel or whatever, because, like, he was extremely conflicted by that dichotomy. And I think that, you know...
probably would have been good if he could have, like, taken that pressure off himself and just been like, you don't have to live in this big mansion, like, live in some little apartment or a trailer if that's what makes you feel more comfortable. Like, you don't have to live up to the rock star look. Like, just do your thing. You be you, and that's good. I
just think when you're in your 20s, it's very, very hard to have that sort of maturity to say, because there's a lot of things where I just woke up and said, I don't need to do that, or no,
you're particularly good at doing that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what circumstantially made you like that, but I think most people struggle with that.
Yeah.
For a long time. By the time we probably get it, we're probably too old to have been able to, you know what I mean? Like life pushes you to a point and humbles you to a point where you get it. But like, if you can get it before you're humbled, you've really gotten it.
Yeah, but I feel like, and obviously there must have been millions of pretenders. I wasn't really conscious of the rock scene at this point, obviously, but I feel like grunge, like the main guys that were leading up grunge, these guys, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, I feel like they were really genuine about that angst, like that like the
saying it out.
Like, no disrespect to Slipknot, but like they're not wearing masks and overalls in their normal life. You know what I mean? And so there's sort of a disconnect between the stage presence and then who they are in real life. And I think that that's by design. That's not a criticism. Whereas this particular genre, I feel like these guys were that. Like, what they were on stage was what they were, and they were kind of reclusive and introverted and all that. I was reading something about Eddie Vedder where somebody was playing, I think it was Black, like they were hiking and they got to some plateau, they started playing Black, and then Eddie Vedder comes around the corner and he goes, please stop playing that song. And you're like, huh? What? You know what I mean? Like, when you look at him, especially his eyes and stuff, like he was like a really tormented, introverted dude, and like there he is on the mountain, probably trying to get away from the music industry, some zen, and then boom, there he is. You know, he's hearing himself again with that song that he's probably heard. Now,
some people wouldn't understand that. Some people would be like, "What? I would kill to have that."
Right. Oh yes. Yeah.
There's some people that there's no amount of explaining we're going to get them to understand.
Yeah.
How that could possibly feel.
Oh, I agree. Well, you know, we had situations where we were in a certain context and there was a certain individual who was just like beside himself with jealousy.
Yeah.
Of me, and it was like, bro, you don't want my life, man. Like, get out of here.
And I could see the exhaustion on you.
Oh my gosh.
And like, he didn't get it. I'm like, dude, you.
Yeah, I would love to be blah blah. Okay, all right, yeah, all right. So yeah, it looks like he's like
underestimate yourself. Overestimate yourself.
Just say it.
I know. I held a bunch of them in too.
Yeah. I got up feeling so down. See, this song though I love the play on words. Like he does it throughout the whole song. I got up feeling down. I got off being sold out, you know, and you know, this is again one of the major issues, right? You're a grunge band and you're authentic and you don't want to sell out, and you know, it's like Maynard. I feel like Maynard handled that very, very well. I forgot the name of the song, but you know, fuck you, buddy. It's like, of course I sold out. How did you buy my record, you idiot?
Right. What was the name of that one? I don't remember.
I forgot, but it was such a good song.
Yeah.
Because it was like, come on, man. Like, what are you talking about? Obviously, you know, and so I loved Maynard's, like, that was the best handle on it I've ever heard. But I kept the movie rolling. The story's getting old now. So now you know who gets mystified. And I think that's probably talking about him. Because, you know, like, he's now crossed into the mystique of being this great rock star. Show me the power child, I'd like to say that I'm down on my knees today. It gives me the butterflies, gives me away till I'm up on my feet again. So it's like the back and forth. Some days he's good. You know, this is kind of a balanced song. Like, some days he's good, sometimes he does feel like he's on top of the world, and other days he feels like, you know, not so much. So then he's outshined. What do you think he's outshined by? I have a theory.
I mean, it could be multiple things. He could be outshined by himself that is good with everything that goes on in the music industry. Or maybe his younger self that was really okay with it, although he's pretty young in this video.
Right.
Or maybe he feels outshined by other people who are still keeping that mysterious energy about them and are not expressing how tired they are of it.
Right. Right.
So I don't know. It could be all three.
Well, yeah, I was thinking that.
Or he feels outshined by me. So I have a channel with you.
Well, I was thinking about that, like, to what you said about, like, other bands. Because there are other people who just seem to get along and don't have those problems. Like,
or don't look like they do.
They don't project like they have those issues. Like, they completely enjoy it. They completely enjoy the Rockstar lifestyle. They, it's a big party. And I think, like, when you're a person like him who's so introverted and so, mechanical in his thinking, like, I think that would also be like, yo, what is wrong with me? Mm-hmm. Like, how come I'm doing this yo-yo thing, but this guy is just on 10 all the time, and he's happy and embracing the that type of lifestyle, and that's a hard place to be in, because it's like,
yeah, but you can misread somebody because you have always looked like you're going on 10. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen you in a lot of different circumstances, and you never look like you feel anything of the, but you do. I mean, now that I'm married to you, I know you do, but you had a job, you got it done, and some people are just great entertainers too.
Yeah.
My uncle, I guess, was like that. I never really saw him in his prime. He had a band. I wish I could show you guys clips of it, but I'm pretty sure that all got banned once everybody became religious.
Well, yeah, I hear what you're saying.
But he could just stir the crowd.
I hear what you're saying about that. But I'm not talking about, like, life hitting you and how you react to it and pushing through. What I'm talking about is embracing the Rockstar life and enjoying every second of it. That's what I'm talking about. And
I'm saying you can't know that they're embracing it and enjoying it, because if somebody from the outside watching you would have thought every element of...
I'm not saying you can know. What I'm saying is I believe that there are rock stars. I don't know who they are.
Oh, I was going to say, who do you think these people are?
I don't know who they are, but I do think that there are people who enjoy that from start to finish, that they love it, they love the fame. I remember when we were at
maybe rap artists.
In Cali. I remember we're out in Cali. I think those guys in the 80s, if you watch a couple of those behind the music stuff, aside from the internal fighting, a lot of these 80s bands, they loved it.
Really?
They enjoy, well, I mean, you're a guy, you get all the drugs you want, all the women you want, you're not married to anybody. Thousands of people screaming your name, singing your song. Like, what's not to like? But I remember there were two specific, we were in Cali doing the NAMM thing, and we were in a pretty nice hotel, and there were two of these, like, Lambos that pulled up, like, one in front of the other. And one guy was, like, completely uncomfortable. And, like, as soon as, whatever, he was out. He was gone. Mm-hmm. And then the other guy just stayed there. All the people, pictures of him. And he was, whatever. Yeah. And he was, like, leaning and acting all cool. I'm like, okay, this guy enjoys the hell out of it. The other guy, like, wanted to be out of there as soon as he possibly could. Mm-hmm. And, they came together, they were together, like, whatever. But, I don't know, he was probably some rapper or something like that. I wasn't very interested because I was down there because I think I had lost keys or something like that. So I was more interested in my keys, but I was, like, watching this, and it was only, like, 30 seconds between everything. But, so what I'm saying is, like, I'm sure there are people that, like, thoroughly enjoy it. I mean, if you look at the military perspective, there are guys that love it. They loved it from start to finish, and they miss it, and the only reason they quit was because they physically couldn't do it anymore. But, like, all the family back home and all that stuff is like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
And they love it from start to finish. And then there's other guys that are like, they miss their family. It's hard to say goodbye to their kids. They want to see their kid's soccer game. And they, the wife's at home doing this thing. And, there's some guys, I've seen it, where they just go, yeah, man, I think we're done.
To their wife.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, I think there are people that like that lifestyle, and others that love certain aspects of it, but don't, and they start looking at it, and it was funny because I had a talk with somebody, and he's like, basically, like, should I say that to my wife? And I was like, no, you shouldn't say that to your wife, you idiot. Because in that culture, it's like, whoa, that dude's really committed. He's
What in the world?
Pipe hitter. He's a pipe hitter.
Who asks somebody else?
Well, that's a Spartan lifestyle, man. Like, every subculture's like that.
Oh, man.
Why do you think the divorce rate's so high on these things? And the divorce rate's so high on these? Like, you can't fathom it because, you're the woman back home. But yeah,
I can't imagine doing something and making such a monumental decision based on what somebody else says. So if you would have said, "Oh yeah, that you absolutely should," he probably would have got on the phone and ended that right there. Like
Well, I doubt very highly, but I think he would have thought about it. I just think he needed to center himself because he was looking at it
Oh my God.
He was looking at it like, whoa, this dude's really committed. And I want to, because the whole, committed. I want to be that. And it's like, man, you got to have something to anchor yourself. Like, this guy's got nothing to anchor himself. And sure enough, that guy got himself in a lot of trouble. Got himself on the news and all that shit.
Really?
So, I mean, it's very, 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 very difficult to I mean, you're right. Like, how do you know what people really, whatever?
Yeah, but I never hear like rap artists put that out there.
What?
That they don't like it.
Well,
they always look like they like it.
No, Eminem did. With,
Eminem's white.
The way
when I'm thinking black rappers.
Oh no.
Who put it out there?
Biggie. All through the late 90s, early...
Something in my eye.
The whole concept of the player hater. This is the jealous person who, because you're now a rap star, is coming after you and making your life a living hell.
Yeah.
So that's there. They're all over the place. Everybody feels it. But then there are other rappers who didn't care. They enjoyed it. They enjoyed that. They enjoyed that people were jealous of them.
Right.
So,
all the better.
Yeah, me, like, when people are jealous of me, I get so angry. I'm like, man, either it's because you're lazy and you didn't work for it, or you're just insecure and you have no idea what it's like to be on this side. So I have no time for people who are jealous of me. So I don't like it. But, and I'm more, like, apt to completely avoid you if you're that type of individual. Like, as soon as I smell that, like, yo, I'm out. But there are other people that like the fact that people are jealous of them because it validates even more that they're in this great position.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. So it just seems like the up and down and having to kind of adjust to the Rockstar lifestyle. And, I remember I read an article one time in Rolling Stone. It was like, oh, the poor rock star. And it was like, oh, you're a millionaire and you've got a giant house and you've got 18 cars. And, oh, poor you. People recognize you when you walk down the street, but I'm like, I don't know, man. These guys are killing themselves or being on drugs. It seems like it's a real problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it seems like it's a real issue. So.
What do you say about the grass being greener on the other side?
Yeah, that's a good line. That's a good proverb. It was.
Because the dogs are shitting over there.
Yeah. The fertilizer. That's a good line. It really is, because that's the thing that gets me about jealous people a lot is like, you don't know the shit that people had to go through to get to where they are.
No.
We had a guy, who everybody who's like an OG from the channel knows who I'm talking about, but he was a jealous bastard, man, and he hated us and but it took us a lot to get to where we were, and he just couldn't accept it. And so, and then when we told him, okay, this is what you can do to get to where he didn't want any parts of it because
was that for you to tell me that?
It looked like a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
He just wanted it. He's like, I have a life and da 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 da. It's like, all right, well, you have a life, okay. And I'm not mad at that. But don't be jealous of us because
we made sacrifices.
We've made it so that we don't have a life. So it is what it is. But anyway, what do you give the song?
9.2.
This is a song that, like, that chorus just stays in your head, man.
What is it for you?
9.8. It's a good song. Shout out to the big homie. Rest in peace to the big homie, Chris Cornell. Inshallah, he's with the Ein Sof, and we'll see him. We'll see him one day. All right. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.